In this video, let's see a quasi-experiment settings where we can apply Diff-in-Diff estimator. In the Great Depression, the worldwide GDP fell by 15%, and just for comparison, the Great Recession, the worldwide GDP fell just 1%. In the Great Recession and in the coronavirus crisis, the politicians, the Federal Reserve banks around the world, they are more Keynesian than, for example, comparing to the Great Depression. But in the Great Depression, the Atlanta Fed adopted a Keynesian policy about credit. In the District 6, the land increases in 4%, but the St. Louis Fed didn't provide liquidity to the banks. Sometimes a crisis is not about the macroeconomics foundations. Confidence crisis is when people panic and go to the bank and withdraw the money. If they do this all in the same time, even if the bank has solid foundations, the bank will bankrupt, except if the Fed provides liquidity as the last resort. I recommend you to read this paper here, Monetary Intervention Mitigate Bank Panics During the Great Depression, Quasi-Experimental Evidence from a Federal Reserve District Border. Whenever you see the title Quasi-Experimental, it's worth to read the paper, because you know that the authors make an effort to show causality. The chart here plots the number of banks in business against the year. You can see that during the Great Depression, the number of banks decreases in both districts, the 8th and the 6th district. Then somebody might conclude it doesn't matter to give credit or not give credit to the banks. In the end, you see that the banks bankrupt. This is not the right way of thinking. The right way of thinking is the 6th district, the Atlanta, is the treatment group, and you need a control group. Based on the 8th district, you can construct a counterfactual. Counterfactual is against the reality, is abstraction, is the control group for the 6th district. What we do is take the 8th district and project getting this dashed line that is the counterfactual. Then the treatment effect is this distance here, that is about 19 banks. That means the Atlanta Fed saved 19 banks. Let's zoom the chart. The idea is, if Fed Atlanta would not have given the credit to the banks, the 6th district would follow the path of the 8th district. This is the counterfactual idea. The treatment effect is just take the difference twice. That's why the name Diff-in-Diff. The first difference is the outcome in the 6th district after minus before, and the outcome in the 8th district after minus before. Then the second difference is this minus, that is treatment group minus control group. You can pause the video, put the numbers, but you get 19. That means the Atlanta monetary policy saved 19 banks. That is this vertical red line.